Excellent. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today on our talk with Francois Moscat in these fireside sessions that we've been running for the last 2 weeks, trying to give something back to the community on this current crisis of COVID-19. My guest today is Francois Moscat. I like to refer about him as a Jedi. He's a colleague and a friend in the WSI network, but he's that type of colleague that is always giving more than you ask him for. He's so kind with his time, and he's been a teacher for so many people within the network. And not only that, but he's a fantastic digital marketeer and an expert, a worldwide expert on LinkedIn social selling strategies. And that's the reason I thought it would be very interesting to talk to him today about how those strategies could play a role in helping people during this COVID-19 crisis. Just as a little bit of a background, I'm a WSI consultant. Before being in WSI, I worked for over 25 years in corporate America in companies like Disney and Turner. And I had the chance to work with fabulous brands and be exposed to many, many different challenges. So I started this series because I thought between my experience and the people within my network that have and bring fantastic experience, we can actually meet our minds and try to provide solutions and ideas to people to go through this crisis. We're not, as I said before, we're not politicians or health officials, but we have some experience, and that's what we're trying to do here. Francois, thank you very much for joining me. Where are you connecting from today?
Well, today, Gerardo, I'm connecting from a small town. It's actually called Slowtown, Sedgefield in Western Cape in South Africa. I normally live in Johannesburg, but I thought we're going on lockdown. This is my view that you see. So I thought I'd rather be here for 2 weeks or 3 weeks than being in a concrete jungle.
I think your view is way nicer than my view, so I'm very envious now. That's fantastic. And what time is it for you now? Over here it's 9 a.m. in the morning.
It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Excellent. You're just ready to go for your swim after this call.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're not allowed to even leave our property, so that's how terrible it is.
Oh, wow.
I've been fishing on that lagoon that you see every day, but since last Thursday, we have to stay housebound for 21 days.
Wow. Well, we're all in this together, and I think the whole country is going through, the whole world is going through the same. So we understand. In fact, yesterday, our governor here in Georgia, they announced shelter in place, which means that you can only go out for essential business, supermarket, doctor visits, etc. So, I understand. We're exactly in the same situation. Francois, before we start, why don't you tell people joining the webinar or listening it recorded a little bit about yourself and what you do before we start with the conversation?
Okay. Well, I've been in digital marketing for 16 years. Prior to that, I was in corporate, in banking, financial services, and also in IT services. So about 16 years ago, I took the plunge. I guess what I call my shelf life expired, in corporate. So it was time to, leave and do something, something different. Mm-hmm. So I started digital marketing, and I bought the franchise from WSI, and it's been an amazing journey over 16 years. So we've developed into a full digital marketing agency. We've got 21 people, working in our business. So it's busy, and it's hectic. So we offer the full gambit of digital marketing services. But yeah. And I enjoy traveling, and I really enjoy working from wherever I feel like working, right? So I'm either working from my caravan camping, or I'm at a beach cottage that I'm in now, or if I travel, obviously travel's at a minimum now, so I'm doing a lot of Zooming around the world.
Of course, and I know you have clients all over the world. I mean, I've actually had the chance to meet with you in Mexico, in Canada, in so many different places. You're always traveling, so I would imagine this new normal has forced you to think differently about how you conduct business, right?
Yes, but it's prepared me for it. It's amazing because I started traveling in 2010,
Mm-hmm.
and it was it was an opportunity that I got to train many consultants worldwide for our franchise. So when I did that, I realized this is not the job I wanted. I needed to run my business. So what it made me do was learn how to run my business while I was not in the office. So I've been running my business virtually, for at least 10 years now. And, right to the point where I've had offices, I've canceled offices, we are working from home. I just started new offices now in another city because I wanted to just, build a new team. And so we used to this, right? So we were able to work virtually and, enjoy, what we have wherever we go. So the traveling has enabled me to do it. It makes it look like fun,
Mm-hmm.
but we're always connected.
Of course, of course. So Francois, let's jump into the topic today, because I know that you are a renowned instructor on LinkedIn social selling. I mean, you travel the world teaching people how to people, organizations, corporations, sales teams. You train a lot of people on how to use LinkedIn as a tool for lead generation, for building connections with prospects. And I think that that's a very relevant topic for this time, right? How especially people not being able to leave their houses. So first of all, I know you have clients that you manage their LinkedIn operations. How have your clients been affected by COVID-19? Have you had to make any specific changes on those activities?
Well, definitely, the frightening thing was the moment we went on lockdown, and it was similar around the world, like on the 21st of March, in one day, I had just more than 20 clients pause their services. And I thought, whoa, this is serious, because it was 10% of my revenue in one day.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next day, another 5 or so also paused it. So we're down about 20% on our revenue at this stage, but luckily our pipeline is healthy,
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're even going to exceed what we did last month, even with that shortfall. So, with our team, obviously we're a small company, so people are nervous about, well, I'm nervous about meeting payroll, with 21 people, and then, people go on hold.
Mm-hmm.
But so we're focusing right now on, on the money.
Mm-hmm.
And we make sure that whatever opportunities we have, it can be done with that. So I've been looking around, and I see that in China, like it's 90 days and they seem to be like recovering now,
Mm-hmm.
and, getting back to some normality. So I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, maybe this is a 90-day issue that I'm facing,
Mm-hmm.
not just a 21-day lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to work out how do we move over these 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have a daily meeting with our staff on Zoom every day at 12 o'clock. We get together,
Mm-hmm.
we look at, some of the cancellations, but some of the new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And wherever we have the opportunity with clients, we say to them, well, could we offer, rather than stopping, could we offer maybe a 50% discount
Mm-hmm.
over the next 60 days? Because, if we stop revenue coming in, it's desperate situations that you have to start again with.
Mm-hmm.
So we've had quite a number of clients who have accepted that, because I think, as you said it early on, we're all in this together. So, you feel like you've got to support small business, because, that's what's going to happen. We won't survive if people aren't supporting one another.
Mm-hmm.
But, we do have an office. We are operating. It's still business as usual for us. Even though we've lost some clients, we are really busy with new projects.
Mhm.
So I see, COVID has affected, some businesses, more than others, when I look at within my customer base.
Mhm. Francois, but then in terms of the LinkedIn, LinkedIn social selling vertical that you specialize on and you train organizations on, what are you talking to your clients about in terms of how to use now LinkedIn, and especially to listeners or people who are going to be listening to this conversation recorded? Um, let's dive into some advice in terms of what you can do from home today to try to keep that pipeline of clients healthy, or to keep your brand out there with the top of mind with clients. And I know that you're an evangelist of LinkedIn. So what type of advice would you give people?
Well, I think right now is the perfect time to, I said this other day in a presentation, we need to, take this time to work on our business, rather than in our business, because sometimes we can be really busy there. So I think that if you have spare time, certainly you're not traveling, to work and back, this is a time that you can work on your, online reputation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is where most people are lacking. Their LinkedIn profiles, look like CVs. So when they want to connect with you, it looks more like they're looking for a job, than they're looking for a client, that they can help. So I've been, I would say that take this time to create a professional online presence.
Mm-hmm.
And that's your LinkedIn profile. If you do it properly, when somebody Googles your name, your LinkedIn profile comes up first.
Mm-hmm.
That means you can control the message, right? So you can get people seeing you for who you are. So I've been, in fact, this morning, I delivered LinkedIn training online, which is the third session I've done in the last 2 weeks, which has been amazing. So I'm more a classroom trainer with a workshop.
Yeah, I know.
But 2 weeks ago, I did 25 people in Ireland from here, and it worked out really well. Today, I had 15 financial advisors on. And the way that happened was I've been doing a lot of work for financial advisor company, and what they do, I connected with them because I stay in touch, and I said to them, here's an opportunity for you to give something to your clients. So they work with wealth managers. So I said to them, why don't you offer them a free training session? You pay me, but you offer it to them for free. That you have this LinkedIn guru come on and help you. And that's what we did today. And I do it at a special rate, and I had a great session. It was amazing. So, I've seen just being able to use LinkedIn and the social selling part of it, which is, building relationships, not selling, but it's like developing relationships and engaging with people, from the content that you're producing.
So so
So I
so
see.
so I love it. I think there's two things that, and I'm sorry for the interruption, but I think there's two things over there that I love to go a little bit deeper, right? For our audience, right? You talked about first having a professional, working on your brand image, right, on LinkedIn, having a professional profile. So let's talk a little bit more about how that looks like. And the second one that I don't want to miss is building relationships, right? Because a lot of people use LinkedIn to connect, but not necessarily to build relationships. Or they go the opposite way. They go straight to sell and not building relationships, right? So let's talk about those two for the benefit of the audience, and then we can continue with the rest of the points.
Sure. So, your professional image, I call that getting dressed for work.
Okay.
So, if you can get dressed for work, because I'm dressed for today, but it's not what my LinkedIn profile looks like. So I
Yeah,
think having
you're not the best example today, Francois, because you're at the beach in South Africa. So,
that's
but I love it. I mean, this is the
but
new normal.
but there's a strategy behind that, right? So as your customers become younger,
Mm-hmm.
they want to know more about you, right? And I always believe that people do business with people that they like, and people do business with people that are like them.
Mm-hmm.
And how would you do that if you want to meet somebody not face to face, but you meet them online? So you must take that advantage. Like my Facebook page, shows me, is what I do. I'm a grandfather. My grandchildren have a lot of fun, but they sing on stage as well, talking. So this scene that you see in my view here is, a lot of my customers actually are following me around and saying, I need to be like you when I grow up, because you seem to have it right. So that's a side to it. But the professional reputation is, you need to have a profile that shows you in your best light. And it also talks to your customer and your prospect and says, this is who I am, and this is how I can help you. Not necessarily I'm the owner of a company, which doesn't really help with that. So I think by building a profile that speaks to, to your audience, when you want to build your relationship or build your network, you're now dressed for work. So you can go into a network environment and, request people to join. And definitely in today, this last month with COVID, everyone, we are social animals. We want to be social. So we have to use this technology nowadays to, to meet people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I would answer the first one, the professional reputation, because what happens if you lose your job now? You're going to be looking for a new job. It's almost too late. You haven't got a network. You haven't thought about it. You don't have a reference. So that's why I believe it's your reputation that you're putting on, documenting. You do that on LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. So in times where it's difficult, you can reach out to a network that can support you.
So just for the benefit of our audience, and I've been trained by, I've attended your trainings too, and we do also quite a bit of training on LinkedIn. So just for, I would say, and you tell me if you think I'm missing anything, professional looking photograph or your profile. A good header, with a few words, not with your title, but with what you do. Then a good description that says, what you do and how you help people, right? It's not a summary of your CV. Then obviously you can have your history of work and education, but then make sure that you also have referrals, right? Have some referrals there, especially if you're going to be looking for, for work, given, maybe you lost your job now because of COVID, or if you're looking for clients, having referrals are a very powerful source. Anything else there on the profile side?
So when you're mentioning referrals and endorsements, that's social proof, right? So that's what you need. You need proof that you're good at what you're doing, not you standing up and saying it. So that's why, having a referral or an endorsement on your LinkedIn profile, it's done by your network.
Yeah.
It's not done by you. So you can't say Joe says I'm a good teacher. It's only Joe that can get onto your profile and add that. Of course, they can't add it. They send it to you and you accept it. So you could never get a bad referral. Mm-hmm. But definitely the things that you would be looking at is, how do you build a good reputation? It's, you know what I say? I say that, most of us get our business from referrals. And so how do I duplicate that in the real world online? Well, referrals is all about people talking about you when you're not in the room, right? So how do you get people to talk about you when you're not in the room? You can do it on social media, and you do it by using your content in a way that people talk about it and share it, but you're not there. You'll see it later, maybe. So I like to take that approach.
Okay, so that's a great segue into the second part of my previous question, which is, developing warm connections and engaging with your audience, right? And we come to the topic of content and having engaging content, right? So let's get into that.
Okay, so once you have a profile, you need to have people to talk to and connected. So I like to give you two things to do every day on LinkedIn.
Okay.
The first thing is look for an excuse to start a conversation. Mm-hmm. Right. So you start 3 conversations a day. Mm-hmm. And you do this by looking through your your homepage, your feed, and you see if you're connected to the right people, your prospects, you'll see them sharing content, putting content in there. So you should jump in and have some comment on that. Three conversations every day. That's more than 1,000 entry points on LinkedIn where you leave your headline and your face that says how you help people. So that's the one key. The second one is make a second level connection, a first level connection, right? So you know that, once I'm connected to you, Gerardo, then I can see your first level of connections, but they are my second. So the more people that look at my profile, that engage with my content, I would reach out to them and say, let's connect on LinkedIn. I see you commented on this or you shared it. So, that's the way I would build my network. And of course, I would be searching for people in my industry, or not in my industry, but in my target market. I like to deal with business owners, marketing managers, and sales managers when it comes to LinkedIn, because I can help them. So I reach out to them every day, 10 people a day. I have more than 4,000 sales managers in my network. So when I share tips on how salespeople can use technology like LinkedIn, or are your salespeople using something like LinkedIn? How do they grow their business? How do they find prospects? And then I get a lot of comments coming back, and then, okay, how can you help me? They see I'm a trainer, and then that's how, I go into the training business.
Of course. So you're not connecting with them to sell them anything really. You're connecting with them and you're offering solutions. And by offering solutions, they want to work with you.
Yes. So you will tell.
It's almost like it's inbound. Basically, the work that the way you're using LinkedIn is an inbound source. By broadcasting to the world how you can help them and actually helping them through the content, people are coming back at you. But the secret for that working is what you mentioned before, to have a wide network, right? So if you're growing your network and more people you're touching with your messaging, the more chances you have of people coming back at you as potential clients, partners, or just contacts.
That's right. And when people say it doesn't work, then I look at two things. One is I say, let me see if you're engaging with content. Have you shared anything on LinkedIn? Show it to me. And I can just do the social selling index, right? That you can get your score from LinkedIn, and you can see whether people are sharing content. So if you're not sharing content, you're not putting fuel in there. So content is a conversation starter.
Yeah.
The second thing is, if it's not working, if people are not engaging with your stuff, then I'll look at your network. And, if you look at my network, is like 8,500. Maybe 1,200 are WSI internet consultants like you and others, our colleagues. We don't help each other much. We do in this case, but I mean, you're not going to give me your leads and so on. But
we're running independent agencies. Yeah.
We collaborate.
Yeah.
But definitely the big network that I have, which would be business owners and sales managers, if you share content that is relevant to them, then if they're active on LinkedIn, they're going to like it and share it. And that's how because you can see how many people are looking at your at your content and what their titles are. And that will let you know whether you're on the right, you're playing in the right space. So the key thing is, once you dress for work, connect with the right people, share something that's relevant to them, not things that don't matter to them.
So dress for work, connect, and share. That's basically, the three steps. You touched on social selling index, and I think most of the people who are going to be listening to this call don't know much about the social selling index on LinkedIn. So if you Google, for everyone who's listening, if you Google if you Google social selling index LinkedIn, it's going to take you to a page where, if you log in with your profile for LinkedIn, it's going to tell you a score. It's going to give you a score on social selling, which indicates how well you are positioned versus your network, the whole LinkedIn network, and others in your industry, other peers, for social selling, meaning how how's your brand reputation, how well you're connecting with people, how well you're engaging with people, and I forgot the last one, Francois. But there's four.
Developing
And
relationships.
developing relations and
Developing relationships.
developing relationships. So when I work with with clients, that's the first, that's almost like the first step, right? It's like going to the doctor and they take your blood for for study. That is, this is it. If you want to know where you stand on LinkedIn, do that first, and that's going to tell you really where you need to start working, or right, Francois.
Yes. Yeah, sorry, it went off a bit there, but I definitely, what will happen is that it's a benchmark for you. And I think it's a motivator for you. If you just get your social selling index and you see your score is you in the top, you're in the top 90% of your market, that means you're not doing much. So, you can see how you are measured against other people, and you'll know that you're not using this tool in the right way. So I think, it's the first thing I like to do is get the score, write it down, and then track it every week. And that'll keep you going on the 4 things that you should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Professional profile, finding the right people and connecting to them, sharing information, and then having conversations, which is developing the relationship.
Developing the relationship. And at what point is it okay to, you have developed that relationship with your audience. At what point is it okay to be a little bit more aggressive and ask for something? Let's say you're looking for a job and you want you want to talk to someone, or you are a salesperson and you want to jump into a call just to have an initial conversation. At what point is it okay?
I like to be more cautious than to be more aggressive, right? So I think that when I train, I'm saying that you need to have somebody in your network for at least 60 days.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I connect with you today, and then you need to be with me for 2 months at least. But in that 2 months, I must have shared 12, 3 times a week articles or some status update. So in 2 months, you would have come across, you can work it out. It's, you got this, if you go 3 a week, it's 12 a month, it's 24 posts.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming that, and the reason you're doing that is to stay top of mind. So once you've read a few of my posts, and hopefully they're good, so people will remember you. Then after the 60 days, what I like to do is I like to send them a message saying, I want to, I'm trying to get to know my LinkedIn connections better, and I'm wondering, have you ever considered using LinkedIn and social selling, for your sales team, so that they can develop a pipeline, for the future? Would something like this be of interest to you? And that's what I would do. I'd always end my message with something like this be of interest to you. So whatever it is that I'm wanting to bring to your attention, I would do that. Mm-hmm. So it's a softer way. So what I find is that people will come back with 3 answers. Well, the one is they'll ignore you. Mm-hmm. But the first one, they'll say, no, this is not for them. So it's fine, they're polite. The second one would say, I'm interested, tell me more. And the third one will say, maybe you should just contact this guy in my company because it's more in line with what they do. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty much like that. So if you look at the numbers and you say, you build a network of 1,000 salespeople in your network. Mm-hmm. Now, when you're sharing content, and then every week you can send 50 messages to 50 of those people in your network and ask them if they're interested in what you do. Mm-hmm. So, 1,000 is going to take you for 20 weeks. I mean, that's quite a long time. So you're prospecting the whole time with these interest messages. And what's happening is the people who are interested come back to you. And that's what I'm looking for. Because the alternative is I have to pick up the phone and phone 100 people and get 97 saying, don't want to talk to you. Mm-hmm. So this way I can ask 100, are you interested? And the 3 that want to talk to me will say yes. So
And the difference or the power of doing it this way versus picking up the phone is that you build a relationship before. So there's a warmer connection because they've read about you, they've seen what you shared. It happens to me all the time. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm connected to people that I've never met in person, not even ever had a conversation with them over the phone. And still I feel that I know them. Still I know what they are all about. I know what they stand for. I have an idea of what their skills are because of what they're sharing. I think, okay, you're an expert on X. So if they were to call me now, I would have had a preconception already of what they can do for me or how I could work with them, which is totally different to just picking up the phone and calling from,
exactly.
which is
So
cold
the thing
calling.
that Exactly. And so the thing that you must remember is that they accepted your invitation to connect. So they didn't turn you down the very first time you reached out.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a trust there that was made. It didn't say, now you must sell to me. It says, no, I want to be connected to you. So I want to see whether it's worth my while to be connected with you
Mm-hmm.
from a business perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So build that trust with good content and build it with an easy ask. Don't, connect today and say tomorrow, oh, here's a brochure, choose one of these services, book your meeting in my calendar now, and then we can talk about it. That doesn't work. That goes against the grain of social selling. It's not really selling. It's trying to build a relationship. Remember what we're trying to do, something that most of us don't know. 69% of your decision journey is done without you. So people go in and they look for information about a service that you want to offer. And they will know it from your competitors, and they'll know your competitors, and they'll know about you before they come to you. So if you can only influence them with 31%, how do you do that? It's very difficult. So what we want to do, we want to influence their decision in the first 69% of their journey of research. We want to know what questions they're asking. We want to write those answers, and we want to share that type of content. So
Mm-hmm.
you introduce yourself early in the sales cycle, where you're a helpful person. You seem to always have the answers that I'm looking for. So definitely keyword research and finding out what people ask about your products and services is a great way to look at how you share other people's content as well that can help answer those questions.
Of course. So I know we've run to half an hour already, and we would like to keep this between 45 and 50 minutes. So, but this is fantastic and so useful. I want to make sure that we cover a couple of things, right? The first one is the issue of Sales Navigator, which is a premium tool with LinkedIn. How people use Sales Navigator, and what tips could you give the audience? And then just go through if you have some top 5, top 10 tips to, for people to pay attention on during this COVID-19 crisis in terms of what they're doing on a daily basis with their LinkedIn. If we could do something like that, and by the way, I see that we have people connected live. So if you have any questions for Francois, just send them as a chat or raise your hand, and we can answer those questions as well, right? So Francois, let's talk about Sales Navigator first.
Well, Sales Navigator is probably the tool that you have to get to subscribe to if you're serious about building, with the right people.
Mm-hmm.
Because the free LinkedIn only gives you 15 searches, and it doesn't make it easy for you. So, and the premium LinkedIn gives you unlimited searches, but the filters are not great. So you want to go for Sales Navigator. I think it's $79. It's worth
A
it.
month, yeah.
But
Especially if
only
you're in
do it
sales.
once but once you dress for work, then you do it.
Mm-hmm.
And also once you've tried connecting with people and you know that this is going to work, then you'll know Sales Navigator is going to save you 10 to 20 hours a month in doing this. So try the free version. You put your credit card in, but you do get 30 days free.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in and out with Sales Navigator. So whenever I want to build a network somewhere in a different country with a different audience, I sign up for a month. I do my 300 invites, get 200 connected, and now I build relationships with them. So that's how I use Sales Navigator.
Okay.
Now, if you can't afford Sales Navigator, there's a great website called Recruit M. It's recruitem.net. So that's where you're using a Google search to search into LinkedIn. So it's recruit,
Mm-hmm.
RECUITEM.net.
Okay.
And there you can do some amazing searches, and it uses Google to search LinkedIn, and you can get by on that quite well. So that's a good tip for for finding out more in LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
If I take if you want to wrap up and we talk about some of the tips, my biggest thing today is take control of the situation that we're in, and update and inform your clients of wherever you can and what services you can still help them with. So I believe in staying in touch, right? Because most people are very nervous right now as to, will you still be in business? Will they be in business?
Mm-hmm.
So being in touch and being active on LinkedIn and connecting with people is really, I think, a good thing to do. Offer some educational content. I think, Gerardo, what you're doing here is just exactly what has to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Is offer something of value. I mean, what you're doing, you're taking your time out and you're getting experts in from your network, and you're putting it together. And I mean, what you're going to deliver is amazing content, maybe 5 hours of stuff, collectively. That'll be something that people will pay for, and you're now giving it away because we want to help each other.
Yeah.
So I think that's really really important. I think the other thing too is, it's also time to work on your website.
Mm-hmm.
So don't think, this is the time I just want to shut down. Fix up those things that are on your website that are not working well. Review all your meta tags and your headings. Just make it look good, and tidy it up, and it'll just make you feel good about it. So it's not a social selling thing, but what you remember is people come from your LinkedIn profile to visit your website, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because I call the website my office, right? So if you come to my office, I can sell to you. My newspaper is social media, right? So I'm going to talk to you on LinkedIn, and I'm going to say, hey, go to my office if you want to know more, because there's a sales guy waiting there to sell to you.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have that mindset, I'm having a conversation on social media. If you happen to walk into my shop, okay, I'm ready. I can tell you. So make sure your shop's in order.
Yeah, I tell my clients that their website is their new retail space, right? And if they've never, some clients, they always, they've been pushing out the idea of improving their website because they're trying to generate leads and sell somewhere else. And I think there's never been more evident than now that your digital presence is critical. Is critical for having conversations. Right now you have people, with extra time just looking at their screen all the time. And I think some of the changes in how we do business that are that we're going through right now with COVID-19 are going to become permanent. I think a lot of these new behaviors are going to stay. And so it's never been more important. Just supporting what you were saying on have a good website.
Yeah, absolutely. And I did this training today with these 12 financial advisors. And I asked them, I said to them, how did you enjoy this? It was 90 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's quite long to be in something like this. And they said, we're amazed because we've never seen that technology. We can see everyone's faces. We're in a classroom. And I have a bit of practice, so I try and make it real the whole time, So I think that's what we all need to do, is to, use this technology. My other tip that I would say is, take some time to think about the upcoming economy recovery, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
this is not doom and gloom. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to recover. So what's going to happen when it returns to normal is like the spending and everything is really going to increase, right? I mean, I've seen it, how it slowed down. Definitely, Google AdWords and all of that is not working so well with COVID, but this is not forever. That's why I take well, I'm looking at 21 days, but I have a 90-day view of this. And I'm thinking, so what are the things I need to get my website ready for, or what are the new services that I can provide? And I've seen, like, one of my companies, a printing company, they went and started doing 3D printing of these masks, and that they're starting to do for COVID. So there are some amazing opportunities that will come out of this. And if you have time, look at your Google Analytics, find out the pages that you've got that are not working well anymore. See how you can, improve those as well. And look at the new keywords that are maybe related to your products now, that have come just because of this pandemic that we never thought about before. And you might be surprised at new opportunities that are there. So I think take your time to think about it and be prepared.
It's almost an opportunity to reinvent yourself. It's an opportunity to look in, to look inside, do a little bit of spring cleaning, figure out what works, what doesn't, and also how you have to reinvent for the new world that's going to happen after COVID-19, right?
Definitely. Just one thing, I had a good friend of mine, a professional speaker, who came to me 2 weeks ago and said, here's, I think it was $5,000. I need to promote my sales training classroom. Before I could start, he said, stop, no one wants to come to the classroom training. So I said, develop an online course. He's done that already in 1 week, and now we're promoting his online training. So his first one's still to come. But I know it's going to work because I've done it 3 times this last 2 weeks, and people are prepared. They actually found it was interesting because there was less travel, there was less everything to do. You could get more done in a shorter space of time. And I think it was quite effective because, you're recording this, and I record it when I do it on Zoom so that I can send them the recording for a reference. So there are some benefits, being forced to use this technology now, and then it'll change the way we do things, going forward.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm doing this with no intention to other than helping people. I have a strong why behind I do this. I just feel that I'm frustrated that I cannot have more influence to help other than doing things like this. So, but what I have found is that just by the mere sharing of these conversations, people are coming back to me to have conversations about how I can help them. And it's interesting. It's very, very interesting how somehow this new technology has opened up for me opportunities to have conversation with past clients or with new prospects that otherwise would not have never happened. And it's just by having an activity, as you talked about, having your brand out there, educating people. It's just it's giving back, giver's take in a way, right?
Yeah, give us this game.
Giver's
So
gain.
definitely what you do
Yeah.
is the right thing, because what are you doing right now is you're creating content. So you've got video content, you got audio out of this. And of course, I'll send you my notes and you have a blog post out of it, right? So now you have this content, share it on LinkedIn, share it with your network. Don't just leave it here. And then you've got the video that will be somewhere. And, if your network, people are going to enjoy this sessions that you've put together. I can see that from, you've shared your other titles with me. And any business owner, who's willing to spend maybe 45 minutes a week just to look at one of these and just take some, points out of it, is going to think about you, all right? They're going to talk about you when you're not in the room. And that's where you're going to get your next referral from. And that's how this works.
That's how this works. Exactly. So there you go. I mean, you don't have to, you don't have to have a webinar like we're doing right here. It's just about, being out there, helping people, answering people's questions, and hopefully getting people to talk about you when you're not in the room. And that's when all of this work really starts paying back. Francois, anything else that you'd like to share on those tips that we didn't go through?
So I would just think that, you've got to keep thinking about how to continue promoting your business during these hard times. So I know it's difficult, but you can take control of it. You can go to social media and do some of the things that you've seen and heard us talk about today.
Okay.
So, talk about the challenges that you have. Talk about different things, how you can help people. You're seeing that you can reinvent yourself and try and service your clients. One of the things I've just done today is I taught 2 of my clients how to use Zoom to talk to their customer, to their staff, because they sent home. They never had to do this before. They're a furniture moving company. So they want to do it on WhatsApp video. I said, no, on Zoom, so I can show you something.
Yeah.
And so you help them use the technology. Many people don't know. And then they realize, this is good, and you're adding a lot of value. So that's my tip.
Very good. And one last point for listeners that are not looking to find clients, but maybe they suffered a job loss because of the situation, or they were already out looking for a job, how your advice could be adapted for that.
Right. So, on your LinkedIn profile, you would need to add to your headline the word seeking. So you could be seeking next opportunity in a printing industry, or seeking next opportunity in whatever industry you're looking for. The reason you want to put that word in there is that there are people who search LinkedIn, recruiters and HR people, who are looking for people who are looking for a job. So even in the searching, that's how you would do it. And then your CV, your profile will talk about how you help your company to do what you do, not how good necessarily you are. So these are the things I've done. I've supported my sales team because I'm in technical support, and this is what we do for our customers. And then you would then look at the companies much in the same way as a salesman would do. So what's your territory? Are you interested in getting a job in financial services? Well, go and do a search on the companies that you want to work for and connect with the right people there. And then what you're going to do is share information about how you help industries like that, your previous experiences.
So you're building
very soon you're going to attract attention, and people are going to say, hey, I like what you're saying, let's have a chat and work like that.
Okay. Excellent. Well, Francois, thank you so much. I enjoyed this conversation a lot. I'm sure a lot of people are going to get a lot out of this conversation. For the people who have not met Francois, he's as nice on this conversation as he's outside of the conversation. He's just a fantastic guy. Francois, how can people connect with you or find you if they're interested out of this conversation?
Well, definitely on LinkedIn, connect with me, and you can say, you know what, I listened to you guys speaking on Gerardo's show. Let's connect. And then, of course, then we can speak, So if you Google my name, Francois Muscat, definitely you'll see the first 1.5 million entries about me on Google.
I know you're everywhere.
Because I work on my reputation, I want to make sure that, when someone writes about me or talks about me, it's going to be good. So, feel free to connect. I mean, that's what it's about. And our network is large. We've got a lot of people that can share good information with you.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy your time in South Africa. I know that you cannot go to that beautiful sea behind you, but at least you have the view. Stay safe, stay home, and let's hope that very soon we can meet somewhere around the world and share a beer. Okay?
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Gerard. I appreciate being on your show today.
Thank you, and thanks everyone who connected. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.